Hello guys, welcome to my 20th video tutorial in JavaScript. And finally, this is the video where I'm going to talk a little bit about object-oriented programming. So we already know how to create basic objects in JavaScript, but what is this about object-oriented programming? What this means is basically a way to better organize your code with objects. Okay, so I told you in some videos that objects it's more or less like functions and have their own properties. So we've created simple objects with one functions and 3 parameters, I think, or 3 properties. But let's imagine that we have 50 objects. Each object has 100 functions, and each function has, I don't know, 30 or 40 parameters. So this is what Google, Facebook, and some other big companies in technology have to code. Okay, they code objects, and they have objects in their projects with thousands and thousands and thousands of lines of code. So to better organize all that, they create objects, each object with their own particular functionality for the application. So that's a way that they could organize themselves and know where the object is. By the name of the object, they know what they do, and they can reuse even the objects in other projects using object-oriented programming. So it's programming oriented for objects. Okay, and that's basically it. It's simpler than it seems, and of course we already did some objects, but very simple simple examples. Okay, but we have to start with something. Okay, so this is just I just want you guys to have some idea of what I'm talking when I say that comparing to those big companies or those thousands of lines of code and objects, complex objects with 100 functions each object, comparing to what we are still learning, it's very it's a big difference, right? So that is something that when you have 1, 2, or 3 years of experience in programming, you'll be able to create those type of objects, okay, with 30, 50 functions and a lot of parameters. But we have to start somewhere, so we start with only one function for object. You can try your own creation of objects now at this point with 2, 3, or 4 functions and more parameters and use them. But I'm not going to give you, I'm just going to give you one more example in this video of how to create an object. I'm going to create a calculator that well, it's a simple calculator using an object, but it will create, for example, it will give us a result of a multiplication when I give 2 different digits. And well, it's simple, but it will give you some another cool idea how objects can work and how you can create something of an object. So let's go straight away to I mentioned I wanted you guys to see the Wikipedia page, because if you want to read more here, you have some more in-depth history. Don't forget, I don't know if I mentioned yet, object-oriented programming is not only for JavaScript. You can apply it to PHP, some other programming languages, so it's generalized. Okay, so here the first thing I want you guys to do is to create, let's create our simple calculator for multiplication. So let's type 2 variables. The first one, let's call it first digit equals a prompt. and inside the prompt let's type your first digit, second variable, second, let's call it second digit, 2Ds, yeah, let's leave that with 2Ds, prompt, type your second digit, and let's push it up, and here let's create a function. Let's call it calculator, open parenthesis, open curly braces, and now let's use this to designate a functionality which is going to be called multiplication, and the multiplication is going to be equal to a function. I never mentioned you this before, but I can designate a function to a property, okay, and the function is going to be, it doesn't need a name. You have to only type function. You only need to type function, and here you type val1 as a parameter and val2 as the second parameter, and open and close curly braces, and this function will return val by val2. Okay. Now down here we create the object called calc equals, and the object is going to be called calculator. It needs the same name than the function. Okay, here calculator and parentheses, of course, and the object is now created. Okay, so we have created the object. The function, I designated directly the multiplication or created multiplication property, which is a function that will return the multiplication of the two parameters. Now the parameters need a value, and I'm going to do alert calc, which is the object, and now I'm going to use the property of the object, which is the property multiplication, parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis I'm gonna type the values that I want to give to these parameters, which are the variables that hold the prompt. Okay, whenever I type the values in the prompt that I want, either 30 or 40 or whatever numbers I type, automatically they will be the values of the parameters. They'll return a multiplication, and everything hopefully will work as a multiplication calculator perfectly. So calculator multiplication, and here we type first digit, comma, second digit. Okay, let's save this and let's run this in Chrome. Type your first digit 2, okay, type your second digit 3, and there it is, the result 6. Okay, 2 by 3, 6. Okay, let's try this again. Let's multiply 40 by 30, and 1200. Okay, so you can try yourself. You can, if you want to, try to improve your calculator and make it more complete with divisions and sums and all that. But now you have also another good idea how you can create your own objects. This is all for the video. So if you have any questions, just send me a message or post your questions in the comment section below. And see you guys in the next video. Bye.